Okay, Alfred Adult Beginner Level 2, page 32, Brahms Lullaby. I'm going to play it once and then we'll talk about the details. Okay, first things first, the left hand, right? We need to have these chords down. So play the chords solid if you're not comfortable with the chord structures. The first chord that we're playing is a D major. That's D, F sharp, and A. But be able to play it and hold it for 3 beats like this in a solid form. And then get the chord change, which is an A7. And you'll notice my hand is not having to do this or twist or do any movement. Find the perfect position so that you can get your pinky onto that sharp without having to do a movement. So if you're here and you have to go to A7, it should look like that. We shouldn't have to do this or anything else. All right, so the A7 is C sharp, G, and A. That's the second chord on measure 6. We're going to play that one 4 times. And then we go back to a D, but now it's played like this. Then a G chord, back to D, A7, and so on. Okay, now let's talk about the rhythms and how to get the melody with the left hand without getting stuck. So you should build this if you're having trouble playing on the weak beats. Now what do I mean by that? So at the very beginning of the song, we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Right there, when I played on the and, that is a weak beat. The numbers, when I count 1 and 2 and 3, the numbers are the strong beats, the and is the weak beat in between. So this happens at the very beginning of the song. I'm going to count and play just the first bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now if you can't do that, if you can't count and play and keep the perfect rhythm, that's fine. That's okay. But what you want to do is be able to keep this steady. So if you have to just add a couple notes, all right, now I'm going to add the interval afterward. And you don't have to count when you're first trying to do this. I'm not adding anything else. Now I'm going to try to kick in one more note. And we'll notice that next note actually goes before the last strong beat. So this is measure 3. So it's, I'm just going to play the right hand. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Very important that you can actually play the right hand and count. You don't need to play both hands and count when you're doing these more complex rhythms like this, playing on the weak beat. So now that I can do that, 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. That was the first bar. You'll notice that my hand kind of holds a position pretty high. Don't do this and then slide your hand up. Try to start here. That way when you move your 1 and 2 finger over at the end, you don't have to slide up and move over. Just one motion, okay, instead of 2, makes it easier. Now after that, when we go to the second bar, it's not so hard. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and. Now I'm going to stop there for a minute because this is the part where the pedal comes in. So I'm in the middle of bar number 3. So I'm starting on D, and you'll notice my hand is in this kind of stretched position here. So I'm hitting middle D, and I already have my fingers on B and D up here. That's an octave, and then a third below that octave there. So this is another one where you should practice positions with the right hand before putting them together. What do I mean by that? If you can do this, this is the part right before it. So I'm starting at the end of bar 2, the E and the G, the last 2 eighth notes of bar 2. Take a listen. You'll notice my hand position again stuck. I'm not doing this. All these twists and moves. Find the static position that's high enough to where you can just play all the notes without having to do all these weird movements. Now at this position where I've finished, you'll notice that interval before the pedaling part, the pinky is on D. So all I have to do now is stretch my thumb down to D and I'm ready to go. And then I come back, again staying in that high position. Now I'm going to stretch out again, so I feel my pinky go across that key. I'm on D. We're just repeating here. Alright. Now here's the triplet. It says 4th finger. That's fine. Do the 4th finger. So. Alright, so a lot of this has to do with holding your hand position in a set place on the keyboard about midpoint, so you can grab the sharps as you play and make your movements. If you keep doing this, man, is it going to get more difficult. I'll tell you, just try not to do that. Okay, now that last part with the pedaling here. So we're starting off with that, and then we're going to pedal, no pedal, pedal, no pedal, and pedal, no pedal, pedal, no pedal, no pedal. And then this is your triplet. So on the triplet, let's talk about this one. We're going to do the triplet, 3 notes with 1 note, right? 3 notes in 1 beat, that's a triplet. So triplet, 2 and 3 and 1. It's a good way to practice it. And just do your right hand when you're practicing this. Triplet, 2 and 3 and 1. And then maybe kick in one of these notes in the left hand. Triplet, 2 and 3 and 1. Then maybe kick in the next one. Triplet, 2 and 3 and 1. That way you're focusing on keeping that steady beat, and you're counting with just one hand before you add the other hand in, okay? So if that's not working, switch it off and play the left hand and go triplet, 2 and 3 and 1. So you can practice counting just with this, focusing on as if you were playing the right hand, okay? And then putting them together. So the final part, just so you know, the first ending, second ending. When you get to the first ending, you play that, and there's a repeat sign. And you repeat back to measure 3, where there is a forward repeat sign. You play the whole song again, and then when you get to that first ending again, we're not going to play it the second time. We're going to skip over it. Oops. And go to the second ending, and as we play the second ending, we're going to slow down. So you're going to hit that with the pedal, slowing down and kind of maybe fading out a little bit, crossing over your left hand to treble D. Okay. Now you probably can see all that from the recording, and remember on YouTube you can slow down the recording if it helps. Just go to the speed factor and change it. Alright, so hopefully this helps with Brahms Lullaby. Good luck, and I will see you on Monday.